All right, welcome, welcome. Visioning for 2025. Doesn't that sound like something like in a space age movie that we watched when we were teenagers? 2025. Oh my word. All right, so I hope you have your workbook printed out. There is a way that you can type in it as a PDF, but typing on a computer does not tap into energetics at all. So that's why I always recommend printing and handwriting. So that's number one. Number two, I hope you have whatever essential oils and crystals you need based on the categories that were outlined in your workbook. And I'll tell you as we're going along what I am using, but here's the thing. Work with what you have and work with what resonates with you because we're all at different vibrational frequency, and what I'm drawn to work with actually may not work for you. I'll still tell you what I'm using, but I really recommend that you work with what you're drawn to work with. Okay. Um, the energies have shifted so dramatically in the last couple of months that no longer are what I call prescriptions working, where somebody tells you, use these crystals in these ways and use these oils in these ways. They may work, but it is more important for you to work with what works for you, what you're drawn to. Like, don't overthink it. We are out of an energy of overthinking. That doesn't work anymore. All right, so, okay, first thing I want you to do is if you can actually have your workbook, the workbook pages 25 and 26 that list the essential oils and the crystals, I'm going to be telling you what category we are working with based on what we're working with in the workbook. All right, so that'll just make it easier. So I want you to grab an oil from the take the first step, get motivated category. So grab an oil from there. I'm going to be using Ignite Your Journey. And I recommend Ignite Your Journey if you're excited about this, or Valor if you're a little nervous about stepping into something new. So I want you to put a drop in your hand, swirl that drop 3 times clockwise, and take 3 deep breaths. All right. While you're doing that, and you're going to have the recording to this, so don't feel like you have to take a ton of notes because you're going to be working in your workbook throughout this. And I'm going to try to get this in 3.5 hours, but I'm going to be honest with you, it probably will be more like 4. So if you need to leave before we're done, I totally understand. You're going to get the recording by tomorrow, most likely by today, but tomorrow at the latest. All right, so I love teaching this class, and I have taught it, I don't know, 8 or 9 years. I have taught this class. Because how many times have you eagerly set a New Year's goal, only to get to February and you stopped pursuing the goal? Or you got to the middle of the year and you gave up because, half the year is gone. I mean, it comes down to, were the goals really that important to you? Did life get in the way? Because sometimes we set goals from our ego that are really not important to us at a soul level, which is why we don't pursue them. We forget about them. We make all the excuses in the book. We let life get in the way, which is why it feels like pounding a square peg into a round hole, because they're really not that important. So the thing about goals is that when they really matter and you are aligned with them at a soul level, nothing will stop you on the journey to manifest it. Nothing. Nothing will stop you. So many of you know, because you've taken this class before, this is a system I started putting together almost 15 years ago. And the more I learn about soul alignment and working with frequency, the more I learn that forcing a goal through ego, and willpower, it can temporarily work, but it's not a long-term solution. And you're going to get exhausted very quickly because you're out of alignment. And when we are out of energetic alignment, our body, soul, mind, everything cannot function long-term like that. And there are many factors that all work together on whether we're going to be successful with our goals. And this workbook is the process. I've updated this workbook. Okay, there are more pages. It's 1/3 bigger. Last year it was 20 pages. This year it's 30 pages. So I've added a lot more to it. And this is a class to not just listen to. It is not a class to just fill in a few of the pages right here and right now and then do nothing. That's not what this class is. If you want this process to work for you, you have to do the work. I can't do it for you. You have to fill in 100% of the pages and stay focused on them all year long. You have to energetically shift. I can't do that for you, but I can show you what to do. And I know this works because it works for me. It absolutely works for me, and it's worked for other people. Sometimes we want to reach a goal, but when we really think about it, it actually may not be in our best interest because it's ego driven. It's what society wants. It's what society expects. And that's why a lot of goals feel like an uphill battle. And I hear people say all the time, life got in the way. Really? All year? Life got in the way? I totally get having things happen that upend your world. But that's what life is. Life should get in the way because it's your life and you should be living it according to what you want, no matter what happens. I've had 5 years of life getting in the way from losing both of my parents. I've had 5 very difficult years, yet I moved forward faster in my goals in that time. How is that possible? It's because I aligned with what is most important. I let go of what wasn't. I gave myself white space in my calendar. I stopped being busy. I stopped forcing and I started flowing. And when I think back, to times in the past where I was in busy and hustle mode, I wasn't aligned and I had to work really hard for very minimal results. And that's not what the energies are right now. It's about getting aligned to what really matters. What you believe about your goals will determine your outcome. It's actually quantum physics, and it's a quantum physics principle called the observer effect. What you believe about your goal will come true. So that's a lot of what we're going to be walking through. And I want you to remember that it's never I can pursue my goals or I can just deal with what my life is. It's never an or. It's never my life or my family or my business. It's and. But only if you believe that and only if you choose that. If you believe it's, well, I can pursue what I want, or I can be there for my family or for my business. If you believe that, then that's what it will be. But if you believe in an and world where you can do both, then you can. So goal setting is not about naming a resolution, which, by the way, I detest that word. It has such negative connotations. I don't use that word at all. But a lot of people set resolutions on New Year's Day They may create a vision board. I'll tell you, vision boards are coming back. And, there's now even vision board books that you can buy on Amazon that give you all the pictures, and then, people just pray that things come true. But that doesn't work. That doesn't work. There's so much more to the process because number one, you have to know why you want your goal so that you keep taking the steps when life gets in the way. And when I hear people say, well, life gets in the way, well, Allie, I get it. I had 5 years of my mom declining from Alzheimer's, then passing away, and then my dad suddenly passing away, and then I had to deal with the family estate and sell a house and do all the things. I get it. But that's an excuse that we can play in our mind. I still kept my goals front and center of what was most important to me. So you have to know why you want what you want. And we're going to walk through that. Number two, you need to energetically align with your goals, which means you have to change your frequency. That is important because your frequency determines what you experience. It determines how you interact with your outer world, what you see, what comes to you, what you align with. You cannot manifest something new from the same energy that you have right now because your energy right now does not have the thing that you want or the experience that you want. You have to change your frequency. And to do that, you have to look at how you have been the obstacle to your success. That is a bitter pill to swallow. We are our own obstacle. And as soon as you accept that and really start understanding frequency, bam, things start shifting. And number three, it's knowing how to get from A to Z. Because manifesting what you want is not just making a vision board and meditating in front of it and having all these rituals. I like all that stuff and it can really help you get into alignment, but you have to take inspired action, not action because you have to, you need to, begrudgingly. That goal will never manifest with that energy because you're resistant to it. So you have to learn how to take inspired action to get from A to Z. And what can get in the way of those steps? Knowing what can get in the way of those steps so that you can plan around it. Goals require active steps. They just do not magically appear. So your workbook is a compilation of literally 15 years of everything that I've learned and continue to learn about goal setting and goal manifesting. I've tested these techniques. I actively use these techniques. After a while, much of this is just going to become habit. I mean, it's just going to be who you are, and it's going to make it easier. And if you do everything in this workbook without excuse and without exception, and you go back to the workbook every month to review, like put it in your calendar on the first day or the last day of the month, and you continue to focus on it, you will do better. But if you are up here in your brain making excuses, you're going to be in the same energy, which is a stuck energy. When you do this process, life will never get in the way. Because first of all, it's your life. And when people say, well, life got in the way, you're basically explaining your existence as a nuisance. So when people say that, I mean, I cringe when people say that. It's like, your life is not a nuisance. Things happen. You work with it. You work with it, not begrudgingly. So if you sit through this class, but you don't do the work, and you let life get in the way, you're going to be in the exact same place because you're going to be in a stuck energy. You'll be in the same place or a lesser place than you are right now. So I hope you have brought one big goal for 2025. Okay, you can have multiple goals. I wonder if I have my sheet here. This is my sheet from from this year, from 2024. I have 4 categories of goals, and then I list the bullet points. So I have more than one goal, but I hope you have brought one big goal, the big fish that you are ready to put all of your energy into to make happen. You're going to be laser focused on it. And if you have not done well with goals in the past, or even have set, have done work toward this particular goal in the past without success, one thing I want you to consider is maybe setting a goal that relates to your mindset and your beliefs that have interfered with this goal if you are resetting a goal from the past. So let's say if you're setting a goal to lose weight or to be healthier and you haven't been successful in the past, rather than set a weight goal, maybe you set a goal on healing the thoughts that sabotage your behavior. You see how that works? So by the time we get to the end of this class, it's all going to make a lot more sense. All right, so I want you to go to page 2 in your workbook, okay? And in our essential oil and crystal category, let's go to the get clear about your end goal category. So I'm going to be working with Dreamcatcher and Herkimer diamonds. So as we go through this, put a drop of oil in your hands and smell it as I'm talking. You can even hold a crystal because you're going to be doing some writing, or you can sit on the crystal. Like whatever you want to do. You can jam it down your bra. You can do whatever you want. So page 2 is your operating page for the year. And I encourage you, when you are done filling this in, to post it where you see it every day. Put it on your refrigerator, put it on your bathroom mirror, put it on your closet door, stick it in your car, wherever you're going to see it daily as a prompt, okay? So what I want you to do is on page 2, I want you to write down your number 1 goal. And it has to be clear. It cannot be vague. I want you to think about this goal like you are placing an order on Amazon. You cannot go onto Amazon and say, I want a book. There's 9 million books. You have to say, I want Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And then the addition. You have to be precise. So write your goal with precision right now, okay? So take a hit of your oil and go ahead and write that down. And then through this process, we're going to be doing what's called vision casting. And this is to help you be successful in your goals. Because if you cannot see your goal, if you cannot feel your goal and feel the emotions associated with having it, you won't take the steps toward it. You have to feel it. So what do you really want? And by the end of this class, you may go back and change your goal. Because it's focusing on cultivating what really matters. What do you want? Not what society wants, not what your family wants, not what you think is appropriate for you to want based on your stage in life. If it's money, I'll tell you right now, it's never about money. It's what you can do with money. If it's about your body and weight, it's never about the poundage on us. It's how you emotionally feel in your body. If it's about healthy relationships, it's never about somebody else relating in a healthy way to you. It's about you healing your inner wounds so that other people don't trigger you. It's how you want to live your life and how your goals fit into that vision. So when you think of your big goal, will it have mattered at the end of your life? Will it have mattered in 5 years, in 10 years? Will you look back on that goal and say, I'm really glad I pursued that? Or will you look back and say, oh, God, that was frivolous? Like that had no meaning. And that's what I see with a lot of goal setting. When we look back on it, we're going to say, ugh, that literally had no meaning. And that's why it didn't work. So you may have an idea of what your goal is for 2025, but like I said, we're going to go through this process. We're going to go deeper, and it may change throughout the year. You may start making progress toward it, and you may tweak it, refine it, make it more clear. You may completely ditch it and say, this is really not what I want. But pursuing that helped me get clarity that this is what I really want. Okay? So if you are, like I said, if you are focusing on a goal that you've had in the past that you haven't met, if you know what has blocked you from your goal, that's important to know. Or maybe you set a goal to figure out that sabotage. Okay. And like I said, on page 25 and 26, you have all the oils and all the crystals to help you get into alignment with it. The oils and the crystals are not going to do the work for you, but they can help you get into alignment so long as you don't fight the process. And I find that a lot of people fight the process. They, in their mind, they say, but I want this. But then as soon as opportunities come into that aligned frequency, they say, I'm too busy. I don't have time. I don't have the money. I can't do that. And it's like, but that's literally what you aligned for. So pay attention throughout the year to when you put the brakes on. Because when you put the brakes on, it's for something that you ask to come in to help you with your goal. All right, so now that you've written that down, on page 3, and you can go back and do this because this was pre-event work to do, but I want to explain it a little bit. And the oils and the crystals that you can work with are in the creative thinking, problem solving category. So like I work with like the release oil, divine release. I have a golden selenite that I work with. And this is a critical part to do before moving forward and planning in 2025. Because if you do not assess and unpack and learn from 2024, there is no amount of work on goal setting in 2025 that will be successful. You have to unpack the year. For some people, it can be hard to do that. It can be hard. You have to emotionally detach from it. It's just you're just gathering data. That's it. It's just data collection. Do not attach emotions to it. It's important to honestly reflect on the year and look at the results that you created. You know, look at what worked. And then high five yourself. Look at results that you desired but didn't get. So what didn't work? And look at it honestly, like why didn't it work? And usually the answer is because I didn't do the work. Okay, do not berate yourself, do not shame yourself. This is just data collection. What worked, what didn't work. And when you first come at it from the energy of what worked, it puts you into an energy of gratitude to see how far you've come, all that you did, all that changed. But it's also about being honest in whether you did anything toward your goals in 2024, or did you let life or a mindset or sabotage stand in the way? So it's important to know what the blocks were, because if you don't, they will show up again. They will show up again this year. And maybe it's working on those blocks is your goal for this year. Okay. So what's interesting, I'm hearing from a lot of people that they're stuck. They're in stuck energy. And people get stuck in life, get stuck in business, get stuck in their goals when they keep rehashing the past. They are in an emotional loop of something that happened in the past. They're not letting go of it. They're not in forgiveness mode. They're not releasing. They're trying to find answers. They're just in a loop. And sometimes we don't get the answers. Sometimes we just need to say, I'm done, release it, we're done. As long as you stay in a loop in the past, you will experience stuck energy. That is why this process is important. This page is very important. You need to assess, do a data dump of honestly answering, learn from it, like just be an observer, learn from it and say, oh, okay, that's why I didn't achieve the goal, because I didn't do anything. All right, lesson learned. And then let it go. Let it go. If you drag any baggage from 2024 into 2025, there's no room for your 2025 goals. So, let's say you had, a financial goal for 2024, but you are no further ahead than prior years. And when you do your data analysis, you realize I didn't do the work to find out specific things to increase my income. I didn't pivot away from what wasn't working. I just kept doing the same thing, like you were in an emotional loop. It's always worked in the past. I don't know why it's not working. You didn't take action, or you forgot about the goal, or you just got frustrated and gave up, so nothing changed. So until you have more consistent habits, which we're going to go through, and until you get really honest about your mindset and your frequency, maybe in 2025, your goal should involve the courage and the commitment to identify the beliefs and identify the thoughts that stood in your way of your financial goal. Not the actual monetary goal. Work on the mindset, work on the thoughts. So you see how goal setting can be different? All right. So that is something that I encourage you to really go back to if you did not fully do your 2024 analysis. Then on page 5 is on page 4, if you have Oracle cards or tarot cards, you can do a layout for 2025. If you don't have the cards, don't worry about it. Okay, it's no big deal. But I love doing card layouts. Now, you can follow what I recommend, or you can do whatever you want. My card spread, let me see if I can find it. My card spread for the year is intricate. Where is it? Where did I put it? I have no idea where I put it. Anyway, I have so much stuff on my desk. I basically draw 21 cards, and they're covering all different questions. They're covering first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. They're covering the overall energy for the year. You can pick whatever question you have and then draw a card. I take a picture of it, I write it all down, and I stick it on my office wall. And I don't use it to predict the future. What I do is once I go back and start looking at it, it's like, oh, isn't that interesting? Because that played out. The energy of that card and the message actually played out. So, you can include cards to identify what influences are coming into your life for 2025. What blocks do you need to be aware of and work on? What opportunities are coming? Decide what each card stands for, shuffle your deck, pull the card, and what you're doing is you're getting guidance on that question or on that season. Okay, really pay attention. So, like I said, I don't use this predictively, but I look back and it really helps me understand the energies that I was in. And when I look at the overall layout, it's like, oh, this is a really interesting theme. And then when I go back at the end of the year, like right now, I just took down my 2024 spread. And it's like, oh, look at that. That actually played out. So it's fascinating to do. Okay, so I really encourage you to do that if you have cards. And then on page 5, you can do this at any time, is numerology. And I don't know how familiar you are with numerology, but when you understand the energy of numerology, it will help you align with the energy that is playing out right now. So you can run the numerology and I ran it for you for the year. 2025 is a number 9, which means bring things to a close, tie things up in a nice little bow, complete what you need to complete. So if you have things on the back burner that you have been delaying, 2025 it is the time to stitch it all up and be done with it, because you do not want to take it into 2026, which is a 1 year, which is beginnings. But you also want to look at your life path number to see what is your overall numerology path for this life. Oh, Mary, I see that you have 9 for all 3 for 2025 for your life path, for your year path. That's powerful. That's powerful. So when you look at that, when you look at your life path, you can go on, there's so many numerology sites. You can go to numerology.com and you can read more about it, about your life path, because that's what you're here as a soul working on. But then I also encourage you to run your personal number for the year. So you're going to take the month you were born, the day you were born, and 2025, you're going to add it all up. You're going to drill down to a single digit, or what's called a master number. The master numbers are 11, 22, and 33. Okay, so you're going to drill down, and that is going to be a guiding energy this year. And surprisingly, when I do this and I get to the end of the year and do my reflection, it's like, gosh, that's what flowed for me. Like I'm not forcing it. I am just so in the flow of the energy. It's like, whoa. Now we all have free will. We can totally throw a wrench in anything. Humans are really good at that. So this is just something really interesting to do, because when you finish this workbook, you're going to have an energy of what 2025 is going to be for you. And it's going to be an encouraging energy. So I really hope that you take the time to do the numerology as well. All right, then for 2025, if you have never done a word of the year, I really encourage you to do this, because, okay, so for our crystal and oil category, we are in the get clear on your end goal category. So I'm going to hold an apophyllite. I'm going to work with the Envision oil. We're going to take a couple minutes and we're going to work on this. So I want you to look at page 6. I've given you some words. You can go beyond this list. But what I want you to do right now, first of all, I want you to put a drop of the oil in this category that you have. I want you to put it in your hands and take 3 deep inhalations. And I want you to choose 5 words that jump out at you, that catch your eye. Do not overanalyze this. Okay? I want you to smell. Always 3 very deep inhalations. It's going to get you to the energy of doing this. Okay? So the category is get clear on your end goal. And I want you to circle the 5 words that jump out at you. Your word of the year is going to be on page 2, your guiding document. But you can also place it wherever you want. Like I have it here on the vision boards in my office. And your word of the year is going to help you refocus your energy on what you want when you get thrown off track. It's going to continue to remind you. It's like a mantra. It is one word that is going to keep you in the energy. Okay, so we're going to talk about the energy of what you want to be, what you want to do, what you want to have, and it's going to help you stay focused on that. Okay, so for right now, I want you to look at these words and focus on who do you want to be in 2025? Because that will impact your goal. How will you feel when you achieve it? Because that is important, is focusing on how you feel. and then you're going to associate a word with it going forward. So as you are looking for your 5 words, as you circle them, I want you to then say the word out loud. You're all muted, okay? I want you to say the word out loud. And how does it make you feel? Do you feel empowered and energized? Or do you kind of slump when you say it? Like, does your body kind of slump? Or do you sit upright? That is a sign of whether a word is right for you. And once you have your 5, you can even pendulum test. All right. A lot of you know how to pendulum test. You can pendulum test your word. When you drill down to one word, I want you to post that word where you can see it every day. Maybe you make it a screensaver on your phone. You make it a screensaver on your computer because it will redirect you to stay on that path. Okay, this is a really, really powerful technique. Okay, so let's just take a minute. I want you to finish selecting your 5. And then from the 5, I want you to test which one feels right based on your primary goal for 2025. And if at the end of this you're still torn between a couple, I want you to meditate. I want you to pick a crystal and an oil from this category and work with it. Pendulum test, body test, okay? All right, I'm going to give you a minute to finish this. If you have isolated down your one word, I'd love for you to put it in the chat. I'd love to see what your words are. All right, I'm seeing come through on the chat, resilient. That's a good one. Worthy, yeah. Because we either operate from an energy of empowerment or disempowerment. Empowerment energy is abundant energy. Disempowered energy is lack. It's all the I can'ts or I don'ts. So these words get you into that empowered energy. Let's see. Implement. Yeah, that's an action word. Yeah. Trust. Yeah. Okay. Now I want you to go back to page 2, the primary document we're working from, and I want you to write in your word of the year. Now, the nice thing about your workbook, if you need to go back and reprint, you can. And then you can keep working on this. But when you are working with energy and goal setting, you cannot overthink it. Do not overthink it. When you do things rapidly, which is what we're going to do through this class, bam, we're going to go through stuff. You're working in intuitive energy. That is always right. That always works. When you're working from ego and getting into analysis paralysis and second guessing and going back and reworking and tweaking, that never works. It just doesn't. So the speed of this class is getting you into intuitive energy. All right. So on that note, let's keep going. All right. We are going to go through, we're on page 7. And I'm going to start talking about doing thought analysis. Oh my gosh, this is huge. So for your oils and your crystals, we are in the category of transform old beliefs. So pick an oil, pick a crystal. I'm picking transformation, which is my number one oil. My word, you work with this oil every day for a year, you will not recognize yourself. And I'm going to hold in a celestial. That's what I'm working with. All right, so these were pages to work on before the class, but this is not a one and done. This is something that I want you to continue working on. This is a technique that I use when I coach, okay? So if you have been in an energy of not pursuing your goals, letting life get in the way, I'm busy, things happened, you need to focus on these pages. And that's where thought analysis comes in. All right, smell your oil. This is a very, very effective technique for identifying sabotaging beliefs that create the thoughts, that create the emotions, that create the inaction. And you're getting to the root of it and changing it. Okay? If your thoughts about your primary goal are not immediately supportive, like if you say your goal out loud right now, and if the first thought in your head was, I don't think so, you can't do that. You don't have the money to do that. You don't have the time to do that. What are you thinking? Right? It's not going to work. You will never take the steps toward your goal. Because if your thoughts are not supportive, your thoughts will create the feelings, and those feelings basically create pain, not physical pain, emotional pain. And your brain is hardwired to protect you from pain. So your brain is going to say, I don't think so. Shut that down. You're not doing that. You're not doing that. Now, this process looks easier than it may feel. And this is where I like to coach people. So I encourage you, when you're working on page 7, and you may need to print out a lot of page 7s or just have a notebook where you follow this process, you're going to do this process for each singular thought. Okay, you need to be very clear. So on page 7, I give you definitions because first we need to start with, I want you to think about a goal that you did not manifest, that you did not work on in 2024, even though you wanted to, you just didn't. You just didn't. No judgment, no shame. We're just going to stick with facts. And I need you to ask yourself, what happened? A fact is an indisputable event or situation. What happened? And what is that fact? The fact is, I didn't work on it. I didn't work on it. That's a fact. Okay? Then you're going to work on a thought. A thought perceives and interprets and gives meaning to a fact. Okay, what is your thought when you say, I didn't work on it? What is the thought? One thought. Okay, so the thought could be, I just got really busy. Time got away from me. You're giving meaning to the fact that you didn't work on it. You're giving an excuse. That's really what it is. It's an excuse. We're giving a reason to validate, to try to make ourselves feel better why we didn't do the work. Now, from that thought, a story is the meaning that we're giving to it to try to make ourselves feel better. But you know what? We don't feel better. And we tell ourselves stories all the time. Well, I didn't do it because of this, and I didn't do it because of this, and I didn't do it because my parents got sick, or family got sick, or my dog got sick, and I got really busy. And do you really feel better when you say that to yourself? We don't. And from the story that we are feeding ourselves, we get an emotional response. And usually it's shame. And so you have to name the emotion. What is it that you're feeling? Shame, regret, unforgiveness, what is the feeling? And then from the feeling, we either take action or we don't take action. And then the result is the outcome from our behavior. So let's say that you had a goal you were going to exercise every day. You were going to get in 10,000 steps and you were going to start lifting weights and you were going to lose 20 pounds. The thought, the story that happened was that life got in the way. There were disruptions. I couldn't get to the gym at the time that I wanted to go. I hurt my foot, and I couldn't get my steps in. Okay, what's your feeling? Well, I feel like a failure. All right, from feeling like a failure, what's your behavior? Well, even when I had the time, I made all the excuses and found all the reasons to not go. That was my behavior. I buffered. I busied myself with other things so that I would get to the end of the day and say, you know what, I just didn't have time to go. And it was a way of self-soothing, but it doesn't self-soothe. And then what was the result? You didn't lose the weight because you didn't do the work. Once you know that, then you go to page 8. Okay. So you have to go through and you have to first identify the unintentional thoughts, because nobody is ever setting a goal with the intention to not pursue it or to not have it come through. Nobody does that. We have unintentional thoughts that are stemming from beliefs that create the thoughts, that create the feelings, that create the inaction, that create the results. That's how the process goes. And after you do this process, what you need to then do is switch to intentional thoughts. So let's say, and I give this example on page 8 in your workbook, that you had a goal for your business, for your work, and you wanted to increase your income. And your income requires new customers. And when that didn't happen, your thought about your goal was, I don't know how to find new customers. I don't know how to do that. How did it make you feel? Make you feel helpless. How did that play out? Well, I was helpless, so I didn't do anything because I didn't know what to do. And that resulted in no new customers. Okay, now that you know, let's flip it. You have to find an intentional positive thought that you actually believe. You cannot be making up fairyland, things that your brain laughs at. You have to believe it. So in this example, your positive thought could be, I know 3 people that I would love to meet with this week for coffee or even get on Zoom. You notice that has nothing to do about finding customers or business. It's about getting out there to meet people. I know 3 people that I want to meet with, like I literally want to meet with them. Okay, how does that make me feel? Oh my gosh, like I'm excited. I want to get together. I want to find out what's going on with them. And how does that feeling play out? When you're excited, you do the things. So I'm immediately going to reach out to 3 people and schedule meetups. And then how does that action impact the results? I'm taking action to get to know people. And maybe that will result in new customers. And it may not even be those 3 people, but when they ask me about what I'm doing and I tell them, they may say, oh my gosh, my sister Sally needs your help. You're coming at it from a different energy. So every time you have a negative thought or a story or an excuse that stops you in your goal, I need you to do this process. Okay? So I want you to pick one goal that you had in 2024 that didn't manifest, where maybe you did some work or maybe you did no work. Maybe you totally self-sabotaged and you just threw yourself on your sword. You're like, you just didn't do it. And I want you to do this process and I want you to see how your thought, one thought about your primary goal, created a disempowered feeling that created non-action and therefore no results. What is empowering about this is that it all stems from your thoughts. That you can change. That you can change. There's some stuff in this world that we can't change. That we can change. And when you change your thought structure, the outer world around you changes. What you experience, what you draw in, what you see. Okay? So on page 9, this is your page. You can print out as many of these as you want. And you're going to write your goal. You're going to write the first thought that comes to mind. How does it make you feel? How is it playing out? You're going to do this throughout the year. Okay? It would be good if you did this minimum once a month. But I want you to do this when you notice you are not pursuing your goal, because a goal is something that you pursue every day. It's not something that you pursue when you have time. Because that sort of energy tells the energies that you're not really serious about it. When you pursue something when you have time, or when you pursue something on the weekend, or when you have days off, you're just literally sending an energy. It's really not that important. And so it's not going to happen. So every time you have a thought get in your way, a story, an excuse get in your way, or you're stuck, or you're in inaction, do this. And it is going to dramatically change how you go forward. Okay. Before we go on to page 10, are there any questions of what we've talked about so far? Go ahead and type in the chat if you have a question. Does this all make sense so far? We're building a puzzle here. It's all energetic. Goal setting, pure energetics. All right, I'm not seeing any questions. I will keep monitoring if I do. All right, we're going to do a little bit more and then we're going to take a quick, we'll take a quick break in like 15 minutes. Okay, all right, let's go to page 10. All right, we're going to do what is called a vibe analysis. Okay, on your oil and crystal page, we are in the category of transform old beliefs. So pick an oil and a crystal. So I am going to work with a Lemurian and the Rise Above oil. That's what I'm working with. Work with what you have. All right, so, all right, right on this page, I'm going to read it to you because it's super important. Your reality, what you observe in your surroundings, how you go about working on your goals, and the timeline, the existence that you experience as life is totally based on your inner world. That's your vibrational frequency. This is all quantum physics. It is fascinating. If you have never studied with Bruce Lipton or Greg Braden and Joe Dispenza, oh my gosh, that should be a goal for 2025. When you start working quantum physics, okay, this whole class is built on quantum physics. All right. So what we just talked about, your thoughts come from your beliefs. Okay. your thoughts, your assumptions about life, which is a false belief, it's a false thought, and your words that are spoken and written create your vibrational frequency, the timeline that you are living, the reality that you see. We have multiple timelines happening in this world, which is why two people can view the exact same situation and have two polar different responses to it. And it's all based on your inner world. Your inner world, your inner vibration comes from your beliefs that trigger a thought, that create the words, and then the feelings, and then the action or non-action. Your inner world, your inner vibration, whether it's filled with unhealed wounds, unforgiveness, anger, rage, fear, or joy, compassion, kindness, you get to decide. Okay, you get to decide. But that vibe in you sends a vibration outward, and it's what draws like frequency things to you of the same frequency. It can all, so you can literally be drawing in things that you do not want. And if you are surrounded by things that you do not want, it's not about those outer things, it's about your inner world. You got to work on yourself. When you are triggered, you have to work on yourself. Your inner vibe also repels what you want. So if you are full of anger, rage, fear, worry about the future, but yet you have this beautiful goal of what you want in life that is just all, daisies and tulips and kittens and puppies and just, it's just beautiful energy, but you're full of fear, you're literally repelling it. You're sending out an energy that says, I want more things to be afraid of. I want more things to be angry about. And you will align with that. You will not align with your goal. So your inner vibe is what draws things to you. It is what repels what you want. It is picked up by other people. So you will draw in people that you don't want. You will repel the people that you do. And it's like attracts like. It's everything. Everything is vibrational frequency. You are in control of your vibe. That's the good news. Just like you're in control of your thoughts and your feelings, you're in control of your vibrational frequency. Nobody's in control of that. And I think to some extent, we are all control management specialists, right? We're a little control freaks. This is one thing that you can control. I love this part. I love this part. So you can only manifest from the frequency of who you are and what you believe that creates the thoughts, the words, the feelings, and the actions. It's all vibrational frequency. So put another way, I want you to focus on what is the frequency of someone who has achieved your goal. I want you to envision that person. Take your primary goal. I want you, and maybe you literally know somebody who has achieved what you want. I want you to envision that person. What is their frequency? Because that's the vibe that you want. That's what you want. So the energies right now are pretty chaotic. And if you have a goal to live with deep joy and gratitude and compassion and kindness, what is the vibe of somebody who embodies that? Are they gossiping? Are they criticizing? Are they judging? Are they using harsh words and negative language? Are they disempowered with all the I can'ts and the I don'ts? No, they're not. They are showing kindness and compassion. They are empowered. They literally do not take no for an answer. because they know it's just vibration, what they want. They're very empowered. If you have a goal to feel physically healthy, what is the vibration of somebody who has whatever that goal is for you? Are they wasting away on the couch? Are they eating junk food? Are they bemoaning, oh, I'm just getting older and this is the way things are? Oh, my mom and my aunt and my grandma had this exact same thing. It's out of my control. No, they're not saying that. They're being super proactive because they understand that they can literally change their chemistry and their biology with their thoughts and their actions. So that's the thing. I want you to really think about, and that's the last question on your page. What is the vibe of somebody who has achieved my goal? And you need to be really detailed. You know, if you keep, and gosh, I just hear this all the time, and it just breaks my heart. If you keep setting a goal to lose weight, but you do not believe that you can because all of your family is overweight, and you believe that there is an overweight gene that you inherited, and you look at all of your past failures and you put that all together, it creates a belief and an end result and a vibration of somebody who is not going to lose weight. You have to change those beliefs. By the way, there is not an overweight gene. There's not. There is not. There is not. But people believe things because society has programmed that. This is a big computer up here. Your brain and your heart are computers. You put the program in. Do not let anybody else program it for you. You have to reprogram. So I want to take 5 minutes right now, and I want you to fill out this sheet. Page 10, vibe analysis, okay? Take your oil in the transform old beliefs category. In your non-writing hand, hold your crystal. 5 minutes, I want you to go through this. Actually, we're going to make it 3 minutes. I don't want you to overanalyze. Okay, you can always go back and keep working on this. But this can be very powerful to do the vibe analysis. And like I said at the beginning, once you work these pages a few times, it can just become automatic where you catch yourself in the middle of the day and you do a vibe analysis like right on the spot. You do a thought analysis right on the spot. Okay. So that's why I encourage at the beginning, print the pages, as many as you need, do the handwritten work, because then it's creating muscle memory so that when something triggers this, you can do it in your mind. Okay. All right. Okay, let's go on to page 11. And then after this, we're going to take a 5 minute break. All right. So the oil and the crystal category, if you want to grab that, is the energetic align with your soul category. Okay. So I'm going to be working with Anandalite and highest potential. All right, so too often we set a goal that is about getting stuff, a certain income, a relationship, a car, a house. But at a soul level, it does not align with what we truly want or what truly matters for our soul, which is here having a human experience. Or we set goals according to what we think we should do. And none of that works because you have to be aligned at a soul level. So a lot of people first focus on, when they're setting a goal, they focus on what they want to have. I want the money, I want the car, I want the good health, I want a certain weight. Then they focus on what do they need to do to get it. But then they don't think about who they need to be to manifest it. Okay? Manifesting is when you are aligned with what you want from a genuine soul level. It's simply who you are. It's your vibration. It's your vibration. You can't manifest. So for example, you can't manifest an income that you desire if your thoughts are filled with struggling to pay the bills. You cannot manifest a body that you feel comfortable in if you are focused on deprivation through food and laser focused on that piece of cellulite on your hip. I mean, because those are negative energies. When you focus on how you want to be, the be is about how you will live your life every day. It's your vibration. How you live your life will help you align with then what you do and what you have. Okay? So the be is your vibration. What is the vibration of the person who has achieved your goal? That's who you want to embody and be. The do are the action steps that you take that align with who you are, that align with who you will be as a person when you achieve that goal. So a lot of you know that I go to Grand Haven on Lake Michigan all the time because that's where I am manifesting my house. I already feel like I live there. And the house is manifesting because of that. I behave like I live there. I mean, even when people that I meet there ask me, I'm like, yeah, I live here part-time because I'm there all the time. I behave as if. So it's important to act as if you have already achieved it, but it's not creating a fantasy in your head. Like you have to embody the energy. Okay? So, your values that you have, the gifts that you have, we all have gifts and skills, your strengths, all need to align with what you want. So I want you to take a few minutes and go through page 11, the be, the do, the have. And I want you to write down the first thing that comes to mind. Okay? Do not overanalyze. Does it feel good? Okay? Does it conjure up excitement and eagerness? If not, you want to dig deeper. Again, don't overthink it. Don't choose what society wants for you or what you think is appropriate for your life. I want you to dream. I want you to pretend that you have no barriers. Do not let reality put you in a box. Because your reality is just a reflection of your inner world. If you can dream it and you have the vibration of somebody who has it, you will start to see it and you will know the steps to take. All right? So let's take, again, 3 minutes. And then we will take a break. We'll take a 5-minute break at the end of this. You may need to go back and keep working on this page, like a lot of the other pages. But what I want you to do then, and then we're going to take a 5-minute break, is I want you to look at this page and write your theme for 2025 of how are you going to be in 2025? What are you going to do? And then what will you end up having as a result of the be, the do, and the have, combining with your values and your strengths and your gifts? You're going to write that on page 2. Okay? So it could be something like, And you write it as if it is present right now. So maybe if you're working on your energetic alignment to be more empowered, it could be something like, I am excited to wake up every morning and take the time to quiet my mind through meditation, to work with my essential oils and crystals, to work on my mindset, to journal so that I set the energy for the day. And I notice that I go through my day calmer, happier, more joyful, and it is drawing in all the things that I have most wanted. It could be something like that. So you're literally going to pull together in the present tense a theme for 2025, and you're going to write that on page 2. All right, let's go ahead and take a 5-minute stretch break, and we will come back in 5 minutes. All right, we're going to keep plugging along, but I do want to go back to writing your theme, and we're gonna take a couple of minutes to do that. Now, for your oil and your crystal for writing your theme, if you go to the category called Awaken Your Why and Soul Purpose, pick an oil, pick a crystal. I think I'm going to work with Inspiration and my Brandberg. I think that's going to work for me. So we're just going to take 3 minutes. We're not going to overanalyze this. But again, you can always go back and tweak this and refine it. But I want you to quiet your mind. So take your oil and smell it. And I want you to focus on if somebody were to be writing a story about your life in 2025. That's your theme. I want you to write it as if it's already come true. So you're going to merge the be, the do, and the have with your word of the year, your values, your strengths, and write your theme as if it's already here. Okay? So focus on who you want to be. Focus on the values, the gifts that you bring to the world. What does that look like? And there should be some emotion behind it so that when you get to the end, like you may feel a little choked up, like, oh, wow. Okay, and this is going to help you throughout the year to stay focused on this. So let's take 3 minutes, go to page 2, and you're going to be merging all the information from page 11 onto page 2 under my theme for 2025. All right, we're going to keep going forward. And again, you can always go back and fill this in more. This is a living document that you are working with. So you're going to continue to keep working with it. All right, now we're going to dive into your why. So we're going to be working starting on page 12. And the oil and crystal category that we are in is Awaken Your Why and Soul Purpose. So I do recommend if you have frankincense oil that you work with that. That's kind of my number 1 oil for this. So I'm going to be working with frankincense and a master channeler, if you know what the master channeler quartz is. So a lot of people talk about finding your why. And if you have struggled staying consistent in pursuing a goal, if life gets in the way, it comes down to 2 things: having a strong why and making a pledge to yourself that you will not quit. And that comes with good habits, which we'll talk about next. So, goals do not have a magic start or expiration date, but I see a lot of people giving up their goals on the 20th of the month and saying, I'll start again on the 1st. Or on a Friday, they're like, you know what, I'll pick up my goal on Monday. They don't have a strong why. Having a strong why will keep you working on your goal every day, even when life around you is difficult. And it's making a pledge that is a commitment that comes from within because nobody can motivate you. Motivation is all internal based on your vibration. So, we think that a new year will bring only good things and all of the struggles and the negative beliefs and the sabotaging mindset will mysteriously disappear at the stroke of midnight. No. Mm-mm. You will take your beliefs and your mindset and your energy with you into the next year unless you look at it and do something about it. When you research successful people, they keep going through adversity because they have a commitment, they have a strong why for their goals. Their goal is who they are, like the bee that we just went through. It's who they are, it's soul aligned. And if you find that you allow life situations and thoughts and sabotaging to stop you from pursuing your goal every day, this process can help you realign to find your inner strength and your perseverance, which is your why. And there is something very powerful about a promise that you make to yourself because, when you break a promise to yourself, it's really easy to give up every day. This gets you realigned with a very personal, vibrationally aligned promise to yourself. So I'm going to guide you through this process. So we are going to start on page 13. Okay. So I want you to ask yourself, what is my number one goal that I want to manifest in 2025? I want you to write that down under number 1 on page 13. Okay, I want you to smell your frankincense oil. Actually, you can even take your frankincense oil, put a dab right on your third eye. Let's do this before we even write, okay? Put a drop in your hand. I want you to close your eyes and smell very deeply and say, I ask to connect to the universe, angels, God, spirit guides, whatever you believe in. Thank you for this opportunity to receive guidance and unveil my true driving force for my soul purpose on earth, my why. I am open to your answers and guidance on this journey. Take 3 deep inhalations. It is amazing what frankincense does to quiet the chatter in your brain. Now, write down your number one goal that you want to manifest in 2025. Write it under number 1. Now, under number 2, I want you to ask yourself, why is that my goal? Write down the first thing that comes into your brain. Do not overthink this. Why is this your goal? I'm going to give you 1 minute to answer it. Now I want you to take your answer in number 2 and under number 3, I want you to take that answer and ask yourself a why question based on that answer in number 2. So under number 3, under your question, take the answer to number 2, write it out as a question. Why is the answer from number 2? Why is da 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 important? And then I want you to answer it in number 3. And I just realized in the workbook the numbers are off a little bit. So number 3 should say, ask yourself a why question based on the answer in number 2. There's always edits I'm making. Okay, let's move to page 14. And under number 4, I want you to ask yourself a why question based on the answer in number 3. I want you to turn that into a question and answer it. Why is the answer in number 3 important? You need to take another inhalation of your frankincense. Please do that. All right, now I want you to go to question 5. I want you to ask yourself a why question based on the answer in number 4. Write it down under number 5 as a why question. Why is the answer in number 4 important? And then I want you to answer it. All right, let's move on to number 6. I want you to ask yourself a why question based on the answer in number 5. Why is answer in number 5 important? You are drilling down very deeply at this point. Don't overthink it. Let's move on to page 15, and under question number 7, ask yourself a why question based on the answer to number 6. Why is answer in number 6 important? And then answer it. Now, when you get to this 7th layer of your why, the answer should actually create an emotional response. Some people say your why makes you cry. Yeah, mine doesn't make me cry. Some people are not like that, but you should feel an emotional response. Like it should really trigger the importance of it. Okay? So if you need to keep drilling, keep doing it. But what I want you to do is I want you now on page 15, write down the first why that you wrote under, it's actually going to be answer number 2, not answer number 1. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, answer number 2, because that was your first why. So I want you to write down your initial why. And then I want you to write down your true why, which is answer number 7. And you should see a difference, a big difference. When you drill down to your true why, life never gets in the way. You will stay laser focused because it's soul aligned. Now, I also want you on page 15 to write down 3 ways that knowing your true why is going to help you stay committed to your goal. And when you need reminding about your goal, you come back and look at this, or maybe you keep doing it. Maybe you do it again. Your why is always going to change. So I encourage you to keep doing this process. You're being given a lot of tools whenever you get stuck or whenever you settle into non-action, whenever the stories and the excuses are stopping you from moving forward. You're being given a lot of tools. This is a good one. When you have a true why, you will never stop. Doesn't matter what's happening. You could be sitting at home sick with the flu, you still keep pursuing your goal. You could be on vacation, you still keep pursuing your goal. You could have work that is imploding and blowing up and taking all your time, you still keep pursuing your goal. You could have family members that are sick and dying, you still keep pursuing your goal. Because it's why you're here. It's soul aligned. You will not give up. All right, I would love to see in the chat if anybody saw a big difference between the initial why and the final why. I would love, love, love to know. Oh, yeah, I see tears. Yeah, some people do get teary. I don't get teary, but I get an emotional reaction like, like, oh my gosh, that makes sense. Like that's your soul. That is your soul recognizing that, aha, human, you finally got it. That's the emotional response. When the soul's like, yay, I don't have to keep shaking you anymore. Yay, you got it. Yeah, it feels deeper. Mm-hmm. It's deeper. Okay. And we're doing a lot of deep energetic work. We're doing a lot of deep energetic work. All right. Okay, let's keep going. We're gonna move on to page 16, building my vision. So the oil and the crystal category we are working under is take courageous inspired action category. Pick an oil and a crystal. All right. Oh, I love this comment. This is the first time that I've gotten this response, even though I've done this the last few years. That's why this is not a one and done. Lori, you just totally proved the point. When you keep doing this, because energetically you're changing. Anytime you do any energy work, you do it once, but then you come back and you do it again, you're a different person than you were last year. You're a totally different person. And so you're going to have a different, you could still have the same goal, but you're energetically different. So your why is different. So, yeah. Okay. What else am I seeing here? All right. Okay. The category for oils and crystals is the take courageous inspired action category. All right. All right. Building my vision. Okay. I'm going to be working with the chivalry oil and Demoterite. Oh, I love me a good Demoterite. Okay. Okay, so one reason, there's many reasons, but one reason why goals struggle to manifest is that we sabotage them. We do. It's not conscious, but we do something that stops us from succeeding, that stops us from taking the steps, that stops us from energetically aligning so that we can see that what we want is literally right here. So let's see where you are with your goal right now. So we're going to work on whether your goal is a red light, a yellow light, or a green light. Okay, let me explain these. So when your goal is red light, your vision, your beliefs, and your expectations for your goal are so low. Like you don't believe it. You don't believe it. And so you're basically stuck or you're going backwards. So when you think about your goal, the first thought and the first emotions that come to you are worry, negativity. That little voice in your head is already telling you, you can't do that. That's not going to work. You don't have the willpower. You can't do that. It's all the negativity. Maybe you have apathy. You have no passion. Like when you think about it, it's like, ugh, you mean I have to go to the gym in order to exercise? I'd rather stick a pen in my eye. So then you make the excuses. And when the opportunities arise for something good to happen with your goal, you don't take any action. You sabotage it. I want you to write down what parts of your goal right now has red lights. Like you're thinking about it and it's like, I know I'm not going to do that. I know that's not going to happen because I don't like that. When you don't like something, when you have no passion for a step, for a task, for an action, you're never going to do it. You're never going to do it. So you're just going to write the things that instantly come to mind. Don't overanalyze. Okay. Now, when your goal has yellow lights, your vision of what it is aligned with your current reality rather than your future reality. Okay? So when you have yellow lights in your goal, you're focused on your reality, your present day reality. You're looking at your reality and saying, this is how much money I have or don't have. This is how much time I have or don't have. These are my abilities that I have or don't have. You're literally focused on right here and right now rather than the vision of the future. And how you know you have yellow lights is when you think about your goal, you feel a little frustration. Maybe you procrastinate, you rationalize. Life got in the way. I'm busy. Why bother? What part of your goal has yellow lights? Where you're already thinking that. You're already thinking, Again, don't overanalyze it, just write it down. Red light is all self-sabotage. Yellow light is just apathy. It's like, why bother? Why bother walking 10,000 steps a day? I never lose weight anyway. That's yellow light. That's yellow light. That's apathy. Now let's talk about green light. So your goal has a green light when your vision for the future. Because remember, if you have a goal for something that you don't have right now, you have to get into a reality. You have to get into a different frequency. So your vision is aligned with what you want, not with your current reality. And when you are so aligned in that future reality, you're full of passion, you're full of excitement, you're full of inspiration, you are on fire. You say yes to things without fear. You do not let the I don'ts and I can'ts get in the way. You're like, yes, I'm totally going for this. People may think I'm crazy. Who cares? It's my life. I'm going to do it. This is awesome. I'm super excited. And you start making the changes. You get rid of things that are taking up your time that don't matter so that you can make time for the things that matter. You're excited. You wake up every day and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this one thing that's going to inch me forward. What part of your goal has green lights that you are super excited about? Now, what I want you to write down on page 16, kind of near the bottom of the page, what is your overall light for 2025? Be honest. If it's red light, write red light. Okay? I want you to be honest because you cannot fool your way into manifesting. You cannot pretend your way into manifesting. This is all energy. The fake it till you make it people, I don't think so. You can't fake it until you make it. You have to energetically align. Okay? I want you to take your oil and your crystal from this category. I want you to smell your oil. Okay? Put a drop in your hand. All right. I want you to close your eyes. Smell your oil and close your eyes. I want you to think about your goal for 2025. And I want you to think about where you are right now, which is not having the manifestation of the goal. And I want you to imagine that you do not change your daily habits. You do not work on your beliefs. You do not work on your vibration. You just keep going on and moving on, same old, same old. And I want you to imagine where you will be 1 year from today if nothing changes. Okay? Where will you be 1 year from today? How does that make you feel? When you think about your goal, and we are back here exactly 365 days later, and we are unpacking 2025, and you are exactly in the same place. How does that make you feel? Put down one feeling. And on a scale of 1 to 10, with one being, I'm not going to change anything, to a 10, which is I am on fire. I now know my why, and I now know how to manifest this goal. I'm committed to doing what I need to do every day, not when I have time, but every day. I'm not kidding, friends. Every flipping day. Doesn't matter what life is handing you. You could be in bed with 103-degree temperature and you are doing something towards your goal. You do something because it's that important. Where are you on a scale of 1 to 10? And I want you to be honest. I want you to be honest. Because if you are below a 7, I want you to really dive into all the stuff that we have gone through. I want you to take this weekend, I want you to take the next week and really dive into this. Really, really dive into this. Because going forward, you need to be like a 9 or a 10. And not just pretend like, yeah, I'm on fire, I'm going to crush my goals. No, like genuinely, you're like, I get it. I finally get it. Allie finally shook some sense into me. Like, I finally get it. Enough. And like, you get fed up and you're like, enough, enough. I'm doing this. Okay. So I want you to get really, really honest about that because that's how you build your vision. You can only build your vision from green lights. every step of the way. All the little things, that steps from A to Z, you have to be on fire. That fire comes from your why. That why comes from working on all the beliefs that create the thoughts, that create the emotions, that create the inaction and the self-sabotage. Basically, everything that we've talked about. Okay, this is all stair-stepping you to get to that level. Okay. But we also need to talk about having some good habits. So let's go to page 17, because this is where the inspired action comes in. We just can't sit in front of a vision board and a crystal grid and sucking down our essential oils and think things are going to change. So for your oils in your crystal category, go to the Stay Committed Daily Inspired Action category. Pick an oil, pick a crystal. What am I working with? I'm working with motivation oil and my citrine. No one can achieve a goal for you if you do not internally motivate and have the frequency to stay in the vision of that future. You might as well just save yourself a lot of time and a lot of anguish and just keep going on the way you are. But if you are determined, if you've gotten to this point in the class and you're like, you know what? I'm really tired of not manifesting what I want. Like I'm just, like, why am I here? Why am I here? If you're to that frustration point, frustrations, it can be a good motivating energy to flip over to action. Everyone has bad habits. Everyone. Okay? But bad habits will block your goals. And if you keep doing the same thing every day or doing nothing, you cannot expect a different result. Okay? We've dealt with the frequency and how to align with frequency, but now you got to put your frequency in action. A goal requires a change in your present reality, which means you got to give up something to make space. Energy abhors a void and will fill it. Okay? So when you eliminate something like a bad habit or wasting time and replace it with something energetically positive to get you going, that's how things shift. So you got to give up something to make the space toward the goal. You need to change what you're doing because you can't stay exactly in the same frequency doing the same things day in and day out and expect a different result. That's not how energy works. But our brain is hardwired to resist change because change in our ego means pain. And the brain is hardwired to avoid pain. Okay, so how do you get around that? Habits are a step toward your goal that you're committed to taking every day. If you want to get from your car in a parking lot into the grocery store, you got to get out of the car. You have to take the steps. Okay? It's those little baby steps that start rewiring the neuroplasticity and the neural pathways in your brain. So when you drive to the grocery store, you just took those steps. When you park in the grocery store parking lot, you just took a step. When you get out of your car and take the steps to go into the grocery store, what's the goal? The goal is to get into the grocery store. Each little baby step gets you into the grocery store. If you don't take the steps, that's self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is a bad habit. It's still a habit, but it's a bad habit. And habits come from your beliefs. Bad habits, negative mindset, stories that you tell yourself are just a nice name for excuses. Humans are hardwired for excuses. I don't know why. It's just that our brain does it to try to self-soothe and help us feel better for not doing what we know we need to do. But when you make a pledge to your goal, you're doing everything that we've just done up to this point. It is a commitment to yourself, deeply rooted in your why, and you will not give up. Okay, so when you've worked on your mindset, you've worked on your thoughts, you've worked on your energy, you're changing your frequency, you are really staying connected to your vision for the future, you won't stop. You will not stop because it sets forth an energy that is forward moving. It's like dropping a rock in a lake. It's a ripple effect. It's just going forward. So it's important that you create habits that you want to have that are fulfilling of your goal. So, if you are setting goals that require habits that do not align with what your soul really wants, those habits are very difficult to develop. So a habit you may need to first have is to work on your frequency, your mindset, your empowerment to elevate out of the bad habit. So like picking a bad habit that you currently have. And as you create new habits, you should feel excited for the new habits and passionate about them. Otherwise, you won't do them. So if a morning gratitude exercise does not excite you, don't do it. Don't do it. If it feels better to do it in the evening, do it then. If instead of morning exercise or stretching, as you listen to solfeggio frequency music, feels awesome, do that. Do that instead of gratitude journaling. Like find what really feels awesome to where you go through your day, you wake up and you're like, oh, I got to do this. If I don't do this, I don't feel right. Okay, we all have excuses, but you have to see them as standing between you and your goal because excuses have a frequency to them. So some of the more frequent excuses are, I'll start tomorrow. I'll start next week. I'll start next month. I'm tired. I'm busy. The kids, the pets, the spouse, the parents need my attention. I'm sick. I'm on vacation. It's a holiday. Excuses kill goals. Commitment and knowing your why and doing daily work eats excuses for breakfast. Okay. So only you can pull yourself out of being stuck. And if you need to read an uplifting book or listen to an uplifting podcast or get an app that has positive affirmations, do what you need to do. What I want you to do right now is, again, we're going to just take 5 minutes and I want you to go through page 17. And I want you to write down the habits that have blocked you from pursuing your goal. This is where nobody is seeing this. Be honest with yourself. If you are in fantasy land and not being able to recognize what is honestly happening, you're still going to remain stuck. So go through, answer these 4 questions, and I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do that. Smell your oil, clutch your crystal. Okay, this can be a little challenging, but it's important. Okay, so on this page, the second question about what your inner voice is saying to you about achieving your goal, if the inner voice has any negative thoughts, that is what you take, that thought, and you go back and you perform a thought analysis. All the thoughts that come to you when you think about your goal, go back and do the thought analysis. The unintentional and the intentional process, okay? And when you are working on what you need to let go of to create space so that your goal can come in, it should never feel like deprivation. That is not the right energy. It should feel exciting. So you may have to spend some time with that. Like, what are you eager to let go of? A lot of people waste away scrolling on social media. That is not getting you closer to your goal. Even if you have a business goal and your business is active on social media, scrolling gets you 0 toward your goal. So find the things that literally drain your energy and that you let go of. So you may have to do an analysis of what drains my energy. Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's extracurricular work activities that you really don't need to do. It's like, you know what, that drains my energy? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no so that I can say yes to what I really want to do. I'm a big believer in having a healthy relationship with the word no. No, I don't want to do that. No, I have other things that I'm doing. It's okay to behave like a toddler and say no. And then I put some tips at the bottom of page 17, but one of the most important things, and man, I preach this from the rooftops, get out of busy hustle energy. Give yourself downtime. And by downtime, I mean fun time. Oh my gosh, people are so serious. Adulting, since when did adulting mean you're super serious? Because serious energy can come off very negative. When we lighten up and put more fun in our life, watch what happens. Watch what happens. I have literally spent the last 5 years perfecting this technique for me. And when you get into a work hard and play hard energy, oh my gosh, like you can, and when I say hard, that means just laser focused. When you are working laser focused on your goal and you simultaneously laser focus on just enjoying life and having fun, that enjoy life, have fun, put white space in your calendar, do not overschedule yourself, that clears resistance. When your calendar is scheduled out to the last minute and overscheduled, you are in resistance mode. There is literally no room for anything to come in that you want. So this is a really, really important thing to do. And if it helps to have an accountability partner, have an accountability partner. I've had an accountability partner for, oh man, 7, 8 years. Literally every day we get on Marco Polo, the app Marco Polo. She tells me what she's doing. I'm telling her what I'm doing. And at the end of the day, we touch base. Did you do it? Did you do it? Did you do it? And it's just very lighthearted. It's not judgy or anything. I don't scold her for not doing her thing. She doesn't scold me. But you start getting into that energy. All right, let's go. We're going to keep moving on. And let's go to page 18. And let's actually set a daily routine. So our oil and crystal category is the stay committed category. So pick an oil and pick a crystal. I am going to work with my Golden Healer quartz and my highest potential oil. So picking a daily routine needs to work for you. Not everybody is a morning person. Some people thrive in the afternoon or thrive in the evening. However, with that caveat, a morning routine, what you do between waking up and starting your day, will make or break your day because it sets the energy for the day. Whereas an evening routine processes the energy for the day so that you can get good sleep and wake up the next day and have good energy. So, it's easy to not have a morning routine if you have to get up early and leave your house for work, or you're getting the kids out the door or the spouse out the door. But when you don't have a morning routine, even 5 minutes to work on your frequency, you are literally handing over the energy of your day to outside forces. You are not in control of your day. And then you may find that you get batted around like a pinball in the pinball machine of life. You are not in control. Other people are in control. Emotionally, you are not centered, and people can throw you off. And what's the point of going through a day like that when you can control it? So having A consistent morning routine is very important because it's an opportunity to set your energy, set your frequency, and decide how the day will go. So, like, what morning routine do you have right now? Wake up, shower, brush your teeth, eat breakfast, take your vitamins and supplements, drink your Ningxia Red. What is it? What can you add that is going to help you in your knowing that it's all frequency with your goals, that is going to help you align your frequency? The most successful people that I know or that I have studied with have a routine. It's a well-being routine. It's actually a frequency routine. They may not call it that, but it's a frequency routine every day, even on birthdays, even on holidays, even on vacations, even when they are not feeling well. It's just who they are. It's who they are. And if you stop even just one day, that one day of not doing it makes it harder the next day to get going. And here's an analysis. A penny that doubles and compounds every day leads to $10.6 million in 31 days. But a penny that is doubled and compounded every other day for those 31 days is $163.84. So do you want the daily work and $10.6 million, or do you want every other day and 163 bucks? That's the difference between compounding energy. And then once you do it and you get into the good habit, you don't even think about it. You just don't even think about it. So let's work on your routine. So I want you to smell your oil at this point. You're going to be sucking it down like your life depends on it. Hold crystal. And I want you to really be honest. What feels good in a morning routine? What feels good? Okay? If a gratitude journal in the morning doesn't feel good, don't put it down. If stretching in the morning feels great, put that down. If listening to solfeggio frequency music while you do that feels good, put that down. Okay? Do not put things down that other teachers and other spiritual healers have told you, oh, you must do this in the morning. No, I call crap on that. Okay? You got to do what's right for you. Okay? What is going to put you into a centered frequency to where you can walk out of your house and go out into the world and it's like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm staying aligned. I'm joyful. I'm happy. Your hot mess over here doesn't impact me. I get home. I have good energy at the end of the day. I'm working on my goals. I'm not full of excuses. What is it? What is your morning routine? And then what is your evening routine? Let's take 5 minutes and go through this. Let's move on to page 19. And the category for oils and crystals we are working in is attraction energy for your goal. All right. I am going to work with the abundance oil and my epidote crystal. All right. So words matter. Words matter. I really want to impress this. The words that you speak and write are a direct reflection of your vibration. They are a direct reflection of your beliefs and your thoughts and your feelings. Your words tell you exactly where you are vibrationally, and your words will directly impact, for better or for worse, your goal. Your words cast an order with the universal energies that are going to arrive like an Amazon package the next day on your doorstep. Manifesting energies are like that now. They didn't used to be that way 10 years ago. They've dramatically shifted. So getting into a healthy habit of monitoring your spoken and written words is necessary. Okay? Because once you speak or write something, that energy is out there. You can't take it back. You can try to rewind it and rework it with another energy. But it's like dropping a rock in a lake. The ripples start. You can't stop the ripples. That's how energy works. All you can do is to drop another positive rock to try to counteract it. And this is where it takes time, it takes patience, and it must become a habit to really monitor your words, because your words are literally your thoughts. They are your thoughts. They are telling you exactly where you are vibrationally. And if you are not in control of your words, the tone of your words, the exact words that you're using, you will continue to struggle and you will manifest what you don't want. This is where daily mantras or affirmations can rewire the neural pathways in your brain. I mean, our brain has neuroplasticity to it. You can absolutely rewire the brain. The brain is simply a program. It's like your computer. Right now, we all have the Zoom program on our computer so that we can be here. Your words are a program. Not only feeding your computer brain, but your computer brain is spurting out these words. Mantras work if you believe them. So if you are saying mantras and affirmation and your brain is like, ha ha, nice try, you got to keep working toward finding the ones that feel true, because they only work if you feel them emotions behind what you are saying is actually true. So I've given you on page 19 some to get started with, but this is for you to create your own mantras to support your goal. And, because if you are laser focused on what you don't have and what you haven't achieved, and if you are so focused on the past, that's why you're stuck. Mantras and affirmations are forward looking, they're not backward looking. And if you're a backward looking energy, affirmations can switch you to looking forward. It's like you're driving in a car. You don't drive by looking out the rearview mirror. Like that would be dangerous. You got to look out the front windshield. So you have to believe and emotionally feel the affirmation. You just don't recite them mechanically. You have to feel them, and you have to say them frequently and daily. When you are creating your own mantra, avoid the words I wish, I want, I desire, I need, because the energy will keep you wishing, wanting, desiring, and needing, and it will never come to fruition. Instead, start with I am. Or if I am doesn't feel authentic, you can start it with I am becoming. So if you have a health goal, saying I am physically vibrant, if the little voice in your head right now just went, haha, nice try, you could change it to I am becoming physically vibrant. All right, that feels different. And the energy is I am becoming, I am becoming, I am becoming, until you can finally say, I am physically vibrant. So you see how that works? Another definitive statement to start with can be, I am so thankful and grateful now that I am focused on my health. I am focused on my income. I am focused on healthy relationships. I am focused on my frequency. My gosh, how did I not know this? I am so thankful and grateful now that ... Or thank you, universal energies. Thank you, God. Thank you, angels. Thank you, ascended masters, for aligning me with fill in the blank. Because, and this is absolutely my favorite mantra, it is literally here on my wall in my office, and I look at it every day. And it says, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. And it is absolutely true. When you believe that deep down, okay? So, daily mantras, very, very, very important. So, your homework is to create your own list, and it could just be one mantra. And you write it out and you stick it on your bathroom mirror, or you put it on your phone, So, the mantra on my phone, I don't even think I can show this to you, but it says, Dear universe, who do I need to become to ... and then I fill it in. That goes back to the be, do, have. Who do I need to become to... and I fill it in. So every time I get on my phone, bam, that is in my face. Who do I need to become? Who do I need to become? Okay, it works. All right, moving on. We are keeping on. We are actually on schedule to hopefully end on time. At the end, I'm going to stop the recording, unmute the line so that you can ask whatever questions you want, and they are not in the recording, okay? All right, let's go on to page 20, scripting. Oh my gosh, I have, in the last year, really gotten into scripting. All right, our essential oil and crystal category is believe in yourself category. So I'm going to be working with the Believe oil and my pink and orange flash labradorite. Oh, okay. All right, scripting is a very powerful technique. All right, I need to breathe some Believe oil. And so scripting is very powerful once you are laser clear on your goal, how you will feel living that goal like it's come true, and what your life is going to look like with the goal manifested. And when you script, you have to invoke all your senses. Okay, hearing, seeing, feeling. I mean, all of that. You invoke all the senses and the emotions behind it. So I've given you some prompting questions. We're going to take 5 minutes and do this, okay? I want you to write out and feel what it is like to be living your achieved goal. Oh, good Lord, Dobby. Just crashed into all my oils and crystals. So I want you to write and feel like you are living it. Okay? Do not overthink it. I want you to feel it. Okay? Write what it looks like. What is the first thing that comes to mind about your life? What does your life look like? How does it feel? What does your work look like? Your day-to-day life? You know, what does your financial life look like? What does your home life look like? What does your relationships look like? Your self-care? What does your health look like? What is it about achieving your goal? You are there. You just had a big celebratory party. What does that look like, and what does that feel like? I want you to write it down on page 20. 3 minutes, okay? We're going to take 3 minutes, and I want you to feel it. So I would encourage you to keep working on this and fill in all the little details in the coming days, and really focus on how you are feeling once you achieve this goal. Because when you can feel that primary emotion about this new life, achieving this goal, that is the emotion you want to reach for every day. You have to be in the frequency of the goal. That's the only way you align with it. So when you feel the feelings, that puts you into a vibrational frequency to where you align with it. You can't achieve the frequency of a goal when you are of a different frequency. That's what I mean when I say act as if you have achieved it. And how you act as if you have achieved it is with your feelings. Because no one achieves a goal and feels nothing. And we all feel different things. What is it that you're feeling? That's what you want to feel. Every day you need to do something to align with that feeling. Every day. Remember the compound that I did? $10.6 million or 163 bucks? Every day. Do something to feel that feeling, to align with it. Visualize what you want. Play the movie in your head. That's what scripting is. You are playing a movie with all the senses. You don't go to a movie and there are no feelings. Like you don't walk out of a movie and feel nothing. Movies evoke emotions. And that's what scripting is. You're evoking emotions to get you into the frequency of achieving it. Okay? So this is really, really powerful to do. All right. Let's keep on moving on. Okay, we're going to go to pages 21 and 22. And a lot of you have, the oil and crystal category, we are still in attraction energy category. Let's see, what am I going to use? Green Aventurine and Magnifier Purpose. That's what I'm going to use. So a lot of you, especially from my crystal classes, I talk about the 369 energy. And on page 2, if you, and it should be a clickable link in your PDF, but the Project 369 book, if this intrigues you, get that book. You can find it on Amazon. So the numbers 3, 6, and 9 are energetic. They are energetic. And the short story is that Nikola Tesla discovered the magic in 3, 6, and 9 in that they are not rooted in physical third dimensional reality. They are energetic. And how he explains this is that when you start with the number 1 and you keep adding together the numbers, so 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8, and you keep going. And then as the numbers become double digit, triple digit, quadruple digit, you add them together to root down to a single digit, you will never root down to 3, 6, or 9 because they're energetic. They're energetic. And this is why in the energy world, we always work in patterns of 3. Yet people in the energy world have no idea why they work in patterns of 3. It took me over a decade to figure this out. And now that I have, it's like, ta-da. It's science. It's quantum physics. So I would recommend either having a notebook or just keep printing out these pages and keep them in a 3-ring binder and commit to doing this daily, minimum 30 days. If you can just keep doing it until your goal manifests, keep doing it. Okay? Honestly, this needs to be a daily habit going forward, just like eating dinner. It's a daily habit. It is an essential tool for your survival. Okay, there's many different versions of how to work the 369 energy. I've given you just a really simple way where in the morning, write your goal 3 times, but you have to feel what it's, because you're writing it as if you've achieved it. And you can go back to page 19 with the with the daily mantras, and you can start it with, I am so thankful and grateful now that I have achieved and I am living, fill in your goal. So you have to feel it. So you can write it 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, 9 times at night. It has to be written. It can't be verbal. Verbal does have a frequency, but when you write it, and as you are writing it, you are speaking it, that is very intense frequency energy because it engages more of the neuroplasticity, the neural pathways, and the energy sensors in your body. Okay, so right now, I want you to take your goal and under the morning, just 3 times, I want you to write out your goal as if you've already achieved it and put a feeling with it, like you already have it. Like, how do you feel now that you have it? I want you to write it 3 times. And then before the day ends, you're going to do 6 times after this class. And then in the evening, you're going to do 9 times. And you're going to get into the habit of doing this. So to do this throughout the day, if you work outside your home, it could be a little cumbersome to take these pages with you. Get like a little tiny notebook that you can just put in your purse and just write it down every day. Now here's the thing. You may find yourself writing differently every day. Like you're still focused on your goal, but the words change. What you feel changes. It's not going to be saying the exact same thing over and over and over and over again. It's going to shift. Okay? Let that shift. Let that shift. Okay, let's go to page 23. And I want to talk to you about the 90-day goal system. I literally took a 6-month class on this, and I'm going to explain it to you in about 5 minutes. And it's going to save you like $2,000. So, what's our oil and crystal category? It is the enjoy the journey category. Okay, I'm going to work with Ignite Your Journey and Pre-Night. That's what I'm going to work with. All right, so the 90-day goal system is what I use. And once you get into the habit of this, you're not even going to need to script this out because you're going to know. But when I am working on something that is new, like a new goal, I have never even attempted the goal, I sketch this out and it tells me exactly what to work on every day. Because I know a lot of people, and I used to be like this decades ago, where it's like, well, I have my goal, but I don't know the steps to take. And then next thing you know, weeks and months go by, and it's like, well, I haven't done anything because I don't know the steps to take. These are the steps. These are the inspired steps. All of these steps that you put in should help you feel excited and have passion toward it and be excited toward it. If you are putting in tasks where you're like, ugh, I really don't want to do that, go back to the drawing board. Go back to the drawing board, okay? So if you struggle with the steps to take every day, this is what you need to do, okay? It teaches you to take your goal and break it down into projects. And you notice for each goal, I have 3 tasks and 3 projects because it's tapping into the 369 energy. Okay. So take your goal, break it down into 3 projects, like major tasks. Like when I achieve these 3 tasks, my goal is complete. Check mark. I can check it off my to-do list. And then under each major task, there are mini tasks that you do. That's all the who, the what, the where, the when. Those are the inspired actions, the things that you must do, that you want to do to achieve the project, the major task, which then results in the outcome. And this helps you to know exactly what to put on your daily to-do list, your weekly to-do list, because too often we get busy. We think that we're working on our goal, but we're not. We're just busying ourselves with things that don't move us forward. And as you look at the tasks that are needed to be accomplished in order to move you forward, this is what helps you. Okay? So, right now, I want you to just off the top of your head, I want you to jot down, we're going to just take 5 minutes. Okay? I want you to take your goal and I want you to break it into 3 big tasks, big projects. And then under each project, I want you to write down like the nitty gritty, the who, the what, the where, the when of what you need to do. And these are brief. Okay, these are brief. On page 24, I have outlined how the process works. Okay, so let's take 5 minutes. I want you to start sketching this out, but this is something you're going to go back to because this 90-day goal sheet goes on a vision board, goes on your refrigerator. It's what you put in your calendar. If you're a to-do list person and you love to check things off, this is your checklist. Okay, let's take 5 minutes and start outlining. So one thing that I want you to do with this page is, work with your pendulum, and I want you to test everything to see if it is a good task for you. It may be a good task for somebody else, but if you are not excited about doing it, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. I mean, I think back, I continue to prove these points with myself over and over again. Like when I worked in a traditional, legal office back in the day, I love to write. I'm an author. I get excited. I can wake up before work. I can work at the end of the day. I can work on vacation. I love to write. But when my boss gave me a writing assignment that I was not excited about, oh my gosh, did I drag my feet? I had to willpower push myself to do it. And then I was energetically drained at the end. That's the difference. Okay, so you gotta put in the tasks that you're vibrationally aligned with, that you're passionate about, that you're excited to do. Okay, so work with your pendulum and ask, is this a vibrationally aligned task for me? And if it says no, then you got to go back to the drawing board because otherwise you won't do it. And then none of this matters. You're not going to make any progress. So highly recommend that you do that. So, on page 24, I gave you an outline of kind of what it looks like to do this. Okay? Of kind of the detail of what you need to be looking at. And then from here is how you create your habits, which put into your calendar, what you know to do every day. But again, if you're not excited to wake up and do these things, you got to go back to the drawing board. And the drawing board could include totally re-examining your goal. Because if you look at your goal and it's like, yeah, I really don't want to do those things. I mean, one thing as a double business owner, I have coaches who try to coach me to a seven-figure business. And at the end of the day, it's like, I do not want to be the person with a seven-figure business. I don't. The hassle, the staff I would have to have, I do not want staff. Rudy is the only staff I want. I don't want staff. Once I came to that conclusion, it's like I'm totally fine with a six-figure business. All of a sudden, things aligned because I stopped forcing what other people thought was successful. It's like, I do not want that. Other people are like, I want to have millions of dollars. Do you know the responsibility that comes with that? I do not want to align with that. I want to align with what brings me joy and excitement to where I can do it and not work all the time and not have to deal with other people working my business for me. Not going to happen. And all of a sudden, whoosh, things aligned. So it's okay to go back and rework your goal if the 90-day tasks that you have to fill in, if you're not super excited about them. Because this final thing can take you all the way back to square one. When you look at it and you're like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. That doesn't bring me joy. I'm not excited about it. Go back to square one, start the whole process all over again. It's okay to rethink your goals. I've had some goals in the past, year after year after year, I was not reaching them. And it's like when I finally got through this whole process, it's like, I'm not excited about that goal. I'm letting it go. And all of a sudden, I had the space and other things just exploded. And it's like, aha, it's okay to rethink. All right. We are at the point where you're going to get up and you're actually going to physically stand up and we're going to take some physical steps. You're going to need about 8 feet of space. So I hope you're in a room where you have, because I'm going to talk you through a process and you're going to physically take steps, like 1 foot at a time. So I need you to be in a space where you can move forward. Okay, at this point, you're going to need, within arm's reach, Believe oil if you have it, the Abundance oil if you have it, Envision oil if you have it. If you don't have any of those, it's okay. You don't need them. And if you have a clear quartz, hold it, put it in your pocket, because we're going to go through the process of energetically embracing your goal because your goal may seem far away. And we're going to do this technique and it's very powerful and you can do it as many times as you need to after this class. So I need you first to put a drop of the Believe oil. I want you to smell it. And I want you to, in your lower right palm, the hand that you write with. So if you're a left-handed writer, you're going to do this in your left hand. So the hand that you write with, I want you to take a drop of your Believe oil and I want you to press it into your lower center of your right palm. Okay? I want you to press it for like 5 seconds. And then I want you to smell it 3 times. We're going to do the oils first, and then you're going to do the movement. Oh, it smells good. Okay, once you've done that, I want you to take your Abundance oil, smell it. I want you to go to your opposite hand, the hand that you do not write with, and in the same location, center, lower palm, I want you to press in the Abundance oil. Press it for about 5 seconds. All right. And now I want you to take the Envision oil. I want you to put it on your third eye. Press it in. And smell it. Oh, that's good. Okay. And then I want you to take your clear quartz, hold it in whatever hand you want to hold it in. I want you to stand up, make sure you have at least 8 feet in front of you, and we are going to walk toward your goal. So I want you to put your goal in your mind. I want you to have the thought of your goal, and I want you to feel the achievement of it in your heart. I want you to visualize it, the completion, the fruition, the success of achieving it and sustaining it with all of your senses. How does it feel in your heart? What is the emotion that you're feeling? What are the thoughts? What are you telling people when you achieve it? How does your body feel? What do your surroundings look like? Okay, put that in your mind. That's your end goal. That's what's standing 8 feet in front of you. Okay? Let's start where you are now. I want you to be where you are today. Your goal is 8 feet in front of you. It's just 8 steps away. I want you to take 1 step towards your goal. What do you see? Of the 8 steps it takes to get to your goal, you are 1 step closer. What does that look like to you? What does that feel like? Maybe you checked off a task. You successfully completed one of those 90-day tasks. What do you see? I want you to feel it. What does it look like? I want you to take another step closer. What do you see? What do you feel? Being 2 steps closer to your goal. I want you to take another step. You are 3 steps closer to your goal. Do you have clarity? Do you see how your progress is working? Does it feel within reach? How are you feeling? It's important to feel. What does it feel like to be 3 steps closer? I want you to take another step. You are halfway toward your goal. Can you see it more clearly? What does it feel like? Who is around you cheering you on? Take another step forward. The clarity of the end goal should be getting more crystal clear. How do you feel? You are 5 steps in toward this goal. Is it within reach? Like if you were to reach out and grab it, you're that much closer. What does that feel like? When your friends and family ask you about your goal, how excited are you to tell them, oh my gosh, I'm so close. This is exciting. Take another step forward. You can almost touch that goal. How does it feel? The path forward is now crystal clear. You know exactly what needs to happen. You know exactly the frequency to be in because you've done it. You're 6 steps in. You get it. You absolutely get it at this point. And you're excited. You're on fire. You are green light all the way. Take another step forward. You're so excited, you can barely sit still. You're doing a little happy dance. You can almost touch it. You feel it. You're like, I am 1 step away. Stay focused. Feel the emotions that you feel of somebody who has achieved the vibration of this goal. I want you to take one last step and I want you to reach your arms out like you are hugging your vibrational self that has achieved the goal. And I want you to draw your vibrational self right into your heart. Put your hands over your heart, and I want you to feel the success, the celebration, the joy, the accomplishment. If this is a goal that you've had for years and you finally achieved it, what a sigh of relief and success. You did it. You are aligned with the energy of the success of that goal. And once you achieve that alignment, you're not looking behind. You're not going back. Because you know what it means. You know what it feels like. Feel that energy. What your life looks like, who is around you, what your day to day looks like. All right, you can go ahead and sit down, and I want you to go into page 2 of your workbook and write out what you saw in this process. You may have gotten some additional steps to take. You may have gotten some clarity on who is around you, what is around you, who you are. And I want you to also write, how did you feel when you walked toward your goal and you embraced it? You literally brought the frequency into your heart. Because heart-mind coherence, that's what it's all about. That's what this whole process is. You just did it. So I want you to take a couple minutes and write it out. All right, in the chat, I would love it if you wrote the thing that you liked most about this event and this system. What you liked the best, what resonated with you the most, what was your biggest aha moment. I would love to see that in the chat. Now, going forward, like I said, this is a living document. You should have this front and center exactly 1 year ago, 1 year from today. Okay? Because let's say you achieve your goal in April, you're going to put another goal in. We are a goal-driven species. Okay, that's what differentiates us between us, and our pets. Well, Rudy is goal-driven for food and toys. But the difference between people who manifest their goals and those who do not is that the latter, they don't make the changes that are necessary. They vibrationally and energetically stay exactly as they are now, which means they have an experience exactly what they have now, which is nothing new, and goals are always new energy. So keep working in this workbook, fill it in. You got a digital workbook. You can just keep printing and printing and printing. Focus on the feelings and the vibration of joyful, positive excitement to drive you toward your goal, staying focused on how you are, who you will be when you achieve it. That's what you want to focus on now. But make a promise to yourself right now that you will fully fill this workbook in the next 7 days, preferably before this year ends. Okay? Mark your calendar to go through this workbook at least once a month. Keep your 90-day calendar where you can see it daily and get those tasks in your daily to-do list where you're doing something every day. Think of that compounding principle. You don't miss a day. And keep page 2 where you see it daily because it's a reminder. And if you find yourself slipping and not doing the work, do the thought analysis on page 8. If you need a daily planner, I have put some pages or some recommendations in, and I will send you again the link to the page that's going to have this recording. If you somehow lose the workbook, it's got the workbook. You're just going to want to bookmark that link that has all the materials. And I also have some recommendations for a daily planner if you like to work with those. All right, so yeah, if you could type in the chat what you like the best. I mean, I'm always tweaking this process. I'm always improving it based on my own experience. And the things that are challenging, keep going back and working with it. Keep going back and working with it. All right, I'm going to end the recording for those who are watching the recording, and then I'm going to open it up for those here live if you have any questions.